Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Bandai Ultra Monster Series, not Hero Series, there is a difference. The Bandai Ultra Monster Series Gomess, Pegila, or Peguila, I've heard both pronunciations, and Pagos. Now, all three of these guys come from the 1966 television series Ultra Q, which, I'm not gonna lie, I actually really like Ultra Q. I think it's like a really cool show. It's like the Twilight Zone mixed with like Toho's kaiju films, like if they were like formatted in like a television series. So obviously, like, you know, you have Gomess, who is a modified Godzilla suit. You have Pagos, who is a modified Baragon suit. And Pegila here, while I don't think he's based off any suit specifically, he does have kind of like a Rodan thing going on here. So yeah, like they do have like, they're very similar to like Toho's like roster of kaiju, but like they're their own thing. And I think that's really cool. And the show is also a lot like the Twilight Zone. So like not every episode has like the concept of kaiju. Like sometimes it's just like a strange phenomenon going on, or even just like human-sized creatures, or even there was one episode that really stood out to me where these like teens, like they explored this like abandoned house with like giant spiders in it, and I thought that episode was really cool. So yeah, like Ultra Q, it's very like, it's interesting. It's its own thing. It's like, it's weird, but I think that's what I really like about it. Like, again, I think it's such a great show. It's different from Ultraman. I mean, obviously, like, Ultra Q was, like, the precursor to Ultraman, but still, Ultra Q, I think, is a very, like, I like it a lot. I think it's great, you know? It's not my favorite Ultra show, but, again, Ultra Q, I think, is absolutely fantastic, and if you haven't seen it yet, then please go check it out. There are actually two versions of the show. There's one in black and white, and then there's one in color. If you watch this on YouTube, then, you know, it's like the colored version, but I have the Blu-ray, and the Blu-rays are in black and white, so, yeah. I don't know, so if you're into black and white or color, like, there are two options, you know. I don't know which one I like more. I guess maybe I'm used to the colored version, but I don't know. But there are two options, so if you want to just play around and see which one you like, then go ahead and check those out. So, yeah. Anyway, I have been rambling on for far too long here. Let's just get into this. Before we take a look at the monsters themselves, I just want to take a quick look at their tags. So, starting with Gomess here. Again, we just have a picture of Gomess from, not Ultra Q. I believe there was, like, a more, like, modern show that featured, like, monsters from Ultra Q, like Gomess and Peguila and, like, you know, a couple of others. So, I don't know which show that is exactly. Again, I'm still relatively new to the Ultra series, but still, yeah, this is what this picture of Gomess is from. On the back here, we just have some Japanese information. And on the inside, nothing. I feel like this just could have been, like, one, like, non-folded piece like that. But, yeah, I don't know the point of this, but, yeah, it's just kind of, yeah. But, anyway, going to Pegila here. Again, the same thing, just, like, another screenshot from, like, another, like, newer, like, Ultra show. And just nothing on the inside. And same with Pagos here, just a picture of Pagos. Nothing. Yeah. Not a whole lot to say here, but they do look nice. They do look nice. Though one thing I will say, I do think it's weird, or not weird, but just kind of interesting how, like, spread apart these guys are, like, number-wise. Gomess here is, like, 138, Pagos is 178, and Pegila is 193, which is weird because Pegila made his first appearance, like, before Pagos, so I don't know, it's weird that Pagos here is an earlier number than Pegila, but I digress. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for the tags. Now, going back to the figures themselves, to start, we'll take a look at the paint. And the painting here, I'd say they're all on par with one another. You know, like, you know, each figure, it's casted in its own, like, color of, like, vinyl. But then there's just, like, a little bit of paint to, like, you know, differentiate the coloration. So, yeah. Starting with Gomess here, he's casted in this dark green coloration with a little bit of brown for his stomach here. And also his toenails, fingernails, his teeth, and even the horn on his head is painted this yellowish, whitish color, which I think looks alright. You know, I wish they painted, like this brown here, I wish they painted that a little more to his back, but still, he doesn't look horrible. Pegila here, again, mostly the same thing as far as, like, the nails go. Just, like, you know, this, like, yellowish, whitish color for, like, his nails, his tusks, and, like, the horn on top of his head. And he has a little bit of, like, airbrushing on his stomach here. It's just a slightly darker shade of brown, which, again, doesn't look bad. I think it adds to, like, the look of the figure. I do like that. Though it would have been nice if his toenails were painted, but I digress. And then we have Pagos here, who... he only really has, like, airbrushing on his back here of, like, a darker gray. And he does have some very nice pearly white teeth, so I'll give him that. This guy brushes his teeth, unlike these two. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. His nails are not painted, and, yeah. I don't know. He doesn't look bad, though. Like, he still looks fine on its own. And even, like, you know, Pegila with, you know, his lack of paint on the nail, like, his toenails. Again, like, overall... I think the painting on these two look good, but I feel like my favorite as far as paint goes would have to be Gomess here, because I just think, like, I don't know, I just think he pops out a little more than these two. Again, it would have been nice if the brown here was painted all the way, but I digress. Still, I think the painting on Gomess here pops out more than Peguila and Pagos here, so yeah. Overall, like, I'd say the painting here gets a pass, but as far as my favorite goes, I think, again, I think Gomes would have to be my favorite as far as paint goes. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the paint. Gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation. And the articulation on these figures, I think they could have been better. So let's take a closer look. So starting with Gomess here. Not a whole lot here, just rotation at the arms here. They can move 360. And the tail can move 360 as well. Pegila here, again, his wings can move 360 degrees, as well as his tail here. And Pagos only has articulation in his forelimbs. Yeah, not a whole lot here. I feel like there could have been more. It would have been cool if the legs moved, at least for Gomess here. Pegila, that might have been a little too complicated. I don't know. But Pagos definitely could have used more articulation. So, overall, I think Gomess and Pagos here, I think these two get 3/4 of a pass. But I think Pagos here just gets a pass. So, yeah. Now, we'll take a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on each figure here, I think look good. You know, I think they do a very nice job representing how they looked in Ultra Q. You know, and again, I guess I just want to just kind of talk about this, but again, you can really see, like, Pagos here, all he is just, you know, the Baragon suit, but they just kind of chopped off his head and gave him a new head, and, yeah. And, like, more interestingly, like, Gomess here, because, like, again, like, you can very clearly tell he's just a modified Godzilla suit. But he also has, like, kind of like a turtle shell here, which, I mean, obviously reminds me of Gamera. So I think it's, like, kind of like a neat thing where we have, like, a weird hybrid between Godzilla and Gamera in the Ultra series. I don't know. To me, I just think that's, like, just kind of like a fun, like, neat little thing. So, yeah. And again, Pegila here is just an original thing. You know, like, he's not really a modified Rodan suit or anything like that. He's just, again, he's just his own thing, so yeah. But overall, going back to the actual sculpts, they're good. They do a good job representing how they looked in Ultra Q. So yeah, overall, I'd say the sculpt here gets a pass on each figure. Now, we'll take a look at the detailing, starting with Gomess here. And the detailing here, I think looks very nice. You know, the detailing on his face here, again, I think all, like, little, like, bumps and everything in his face here are detailed very nicely. A lot of really nice, like, you know, defining here, which I think looks cool. And even his eyebrows, I think, are detailed really nicely as well. And I just think it's really funny. Like, he just has, like, hairy eyebrows, despite being, like, a lizard-type thing. It's really weird. Gomess is a weird monster, but that's kind of what I like about him. But, yeah. His arms here are detailed very nicely. We have a different kind of scaling compared to what we usually see on, like, you know, Godzilla, which is what Gomess is based on, you know, just a modified Godzilla suit. So, yeah, the scaling here looks really good throughout the arms and all that. And even, like, the front of his torso here is detailed really nicely. And again, like, he kind of has, like, a turtle, like, carapace thing going on right here. So maybe this is the underside? I don't know. Again, Gomess is really weird, but, again, that's what I like about him. Well, that, and it is cool that he's, like, a modified Godzilla suit, but I don't know. Still, design-wise, he's just really weird, and I like that. So, yeah, but going to this turtle bit right here, again, the detailing here looks very nice. Everything is very nicely defined. And all of, like, the little, like, dorsal spike things, whatever you want to call these are detailed okay as well. And the dreadlock-looking things here, again, just look very nice. And going to the tail here, this is what we see on, like, you know, with, like, usual Godzilla, like, type figures. Like, this, like, detailing that almost does, admittedly, kind of look like fur. But, yeah, that continues all the way to the end of the tail. And the end of the tail here, we just have this little, like, nub thing, tail fin. I don't know. Gomess, he's a very weird-looking monster. I've said this multiple times, but that's what I like about him. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Gomess as far as detailing goes. Now for Pegila here, and it's pretty much the same, you know, like, minus the scales. You know, like, we have, like, some bumps on the back here. But again, like, a lot of the detailing here, just, like, a bunch of, like, wrinkles and, like, creases and, like, the wings here, and then, like, the stomach area. And also on the neck, too, just a lot of really nice, like, wrinkles and, like, folds in the skin here. Really gives off that, like, guy in a suit feel. I think that's really cool. And all, like, the bumps on his stomach here are detailed very nicely. And yeah, everything here is just really nicely defined. Again, really gives off that guy in a rubber suit feel. It looks great. And the tail, again, all, like, the wrinkles and everything here are detailed very nicely. So, yeah, that's it for Pegila. Lastly, we have Pagos. And one thing I want to point out, because, like, the detailing in his head here, like, this bit is kind of, like, pointing upwards, but then, like, on the other side, it's kind of, like, pointing, like, more, like, downwards. And I don't know, I like that asymmetry here. You know, like, it's not symmetrical at all. I like that. It adds a bit of character, and I think that's really cool. But again, same with Pegila, just a lot of, like, creases and, like, wrinkles in the skin here, which I think look nice, like, around the limbs here, and even on the limbs themselves, just a lot of really nice detailing here. And we get that on the tail as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the detailing on these guys. And overall, I think the detailing here looks great. Everything is very well defined, and overall, yeah, the detailing here is just very solid. So the detailing on all these guys, I'd say it gets a pass. Now, we'll do some size comparisons. Now, really quick, before I just show off the size of these figures, I just want to say that I've had a few, like, Ultra Monster Series figures for a while now. You know, I had them since, like, February of last year, and I just never bothered to review them because it's sort of like a monkey's paw here, which is, again, just very, very frustrating. Well, what do I mean by that? The price tags, which I'll talk about in a second, very good. Very, very good. But again, I'll talk about that in a second. But the other glaring issue here is this, right? So here we have the Ultra Monster Series Golza. This guy comes from Ultraman Tiga, right? And these guys, they're all like the same size. You know, they look all, you know, happy. They all look good with each other. Here we have the Ultra Hero Series Ultraman Tiga. And as you can see, Tiga is way taller than any of these guys. Granted, I think it makes more sense with, like, the Ultra Q monsters here, because, I don't know, to me, I think the Ultra Q monsters should be smaller than, like, the traditional, like, Ultra monsters. But Golza in particular, like, Golza is, like, disappointingly small. Golza should be, like, up to here at the very least. But here, this is just way too small. And I'm, like, not a big fan of this scale whatsoever. And to add insult to injury, here we have a Bandai Movie Monster Series figure. This is the Movie Monster Series, you know, Godzilla from Godzilla -1. And he towers over everybody here, right? Like, I don't mind that Tiga's a little shorter than Godzilla. And I don't mind that these guys are shorter. But again, like, Golza, I think should be taller, you know? And there are, like, 6-inch, like, Bandai vinyls of, like, Golza and, like, other, like, Ultra Kaiju. So it's just frustrating that they're all just this very, like, very small size. You know, it's just very annoying. Again, I don't mind that the Ultras are shorter, but I don't know. It's just very disappointing, and I'm not a big fan of that, you know? Like, I wish... And like I said, it makes sense that these guys are smaller. And to be fair, like, the scaling between these three isn't accurate at all, because, like, Gomez is actually way smaller than both Pagos and Pegila. But I digress. Yeah, but it's not just with, like, these guys here. I have the Ultra Monster Series Gomera, who's also very small. I have the Ultra Monster Series Red King, who slightly taller, but again, like, way smaller than he should be. And yeah, it's just really annoying how all of the Ultra Monster Series figures are shorter than the, you know, Ultra Hero Series figures. And all, you know, both of those lines are both smaller than the Movie Monster Series line. I just think, I don't like the inconsistency. I think it's very frustrating. But we're going on 3 minutes. I have been rambling on for just far too long. I'm just going to bring in the hand sanitizer, as well as Dr. Billy Grant here. So at the end of the day, should you get these figures? Now, one thing that I forgot to point out earlier, and then I probably should pointed this out earlier, all of these figures are sold separately. It's not like one bundle. I just decided to do, like, just a triple review because, I don't know. For one, I think it'd be kind of fun to talk about more than one figure, and two, it reduces the amount of videos I have to work on, but I digress. But yeah, so all of these guys are sold, they're sold separately, so this is not a set. However, with that said, I think you should definitely pick these figures up, because the painting, it's not superb, but still serviceable. Not a lot of articulation, but these are just Movie Monster Series figures, essentially, so obviously there's not going to be a whole lot of articulation. But the sculpting and detailing here, I think is really nice, and I think they do... These figures overall do a great job representing how they look in Ultra Q. You know? Again, I think the size of these figures is very frustrating, because they don't really scale well with the Ultras or even the Movie Monster Series figures. I mean, these guys specifically, I think it's okay, because, again, in my head, I like to believe that the Ultra Q monsters are slightly smaller than the Ultraman monsters, but still, the lack of consistency as far as, like, the sizes of these figures go is very, very annoying. But, with that said, I still recommend that you get these three specifically, because, for one, like, they just look nice together. And, like I said, each of these figures are sold individually. Each figure, I kid you not, costs about $5. Not 10, not 15, like, altogether, like, these three add up to 15, but, again, each individual figure is only, like, $5, which, again, is such a steal. Granted, I got these guys from Hobby Link Japan, so you're gonna have to pay extra for shipping, but, yeah, besides that, like, again, $5 a figure, that's really good, actually, you know? It almost makes up for, you know, the smaller size of these guys. Again, I would have preferred if they were a bigger size, but again, like, $5 is $5, and that's kind of a steal. So, yeah. If I had to pick one, I guess I'd have to go with Gomes, because, again, I think he's... I don't know, I just think he sticks out visually more than, you know, Pegila and Pagos. But as a whole, I do think you should get, like, all three of these guys together, because, again, altogether, they do look really nice. So, yeah. So, at the end of the day, yes, get these figures, but if you expect them to scale in with your Ultra Hero Series figures or your SH Figuarts Ultraman figures, then you're going to be disappointed. But if you just want these figures just as figures, then yeah, I definitely recommend these guys. Again, especially for the price, because I can't stress this enough. $5 is crazy. It's crazy low, and I think that's great. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.